Hey, welcome to The Explainer. So today we're diving into a really interesting challenge. How do you explain something that, well, everyone thinks they already know? We're going to use just one source and one single word to unpack some pretty powerful lessons about what it means to communicate clearly.
And that really is the big question for today, isn't it? How on earth do you explain a word that everybody just assumes they get? I mean, it sounds simple, but it's actually a pretty tricky problem. And you know what? The answer tells us a ton about how we can take almost any complicated idea and make it super simple for anyone to understand.
Okay, so for our little experiment today, we're going to use just one source, the Simple English Wiktionary, and the word we're going to put under the microscope is blood. Yep, blood. We're about to see just how powerful it can be to strip a word down to its absolute bare-bones meaning. All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the word simply explained. Then we'll get into the whole literal versus figurative thing. After that, we'll see how we can build a whole word family. And finally, we'll wrap up with why this all matters, the power of simplicity. Let's get started.
Okay, first up, one word, simply explained. Let's pop the hood on language and see what's really going on.
So here we go. The main definition. A red liquid inside a person or animal's body that carries nutrients and oxygen to the other parts of the body. That's it. Notice what's not here. There's no fancy jargon, no talk about hemoglobin or plasma. It's just direct, super clear, and anyone anywhere can get it. And really, that's the whole point.
But, of course, a word is almost never just one thing, right? And this is where it starts to get really cool. Let's check out how simple language deals with those bigger, more complex ideas. The leap from literal to figurative.
Okay, check this out. What I find so fascinating here is how cleanly our source just splits the two main meanings. On one side, you've got the liquid, the actual red stuff in your body. But on the other, you have the lineage, this big abstract idea of family and where you come from. The system doesn't try to mush them together. Nope. It just says, here are two different, totally valid meanings. Simple as that.
And here's a perfect example of that first meaning in action. Vitamin B12 helps maintain healthy red blood cells. It's a straight-up, practical, biological fact. And it's said in a way that, well, you just get it instantly. No confusion.
Okay, now let's flip to the other side. Compare the last one to this. The family that you were born in is your blood. Wow. I mean, there's a kind of poetry in that, isn't there? It takes this huge abstract idea of family and heritage and just nails it down with the simplest words possible. It makes something figurative feel totally concrete. So we've got our core meanings down, but the real magic happens when we start building with those pieces. Let's move on to building a word family and see how one little word can sprout into a whole network of ideas.
Just look at how this works. It's so logical. You start with the thing itself, the noun, blood. That's our root. Then, what's the action you do with it? You bleed. How would you describe something with it? It's bloody. And what if it's not there? Well, it's bloodless. You see the pattern? Once you understand that one core word, you basically get a key that unlocks all these other related words. It's super efficient.
All right, this all leads us to the big finale, the power of simplicity. Let's zoom out from our one little word and see why this stuff really matters when we talk about communicating with people all over the world.
1,000. This number, this is the whole shebang right here. So why is this number so important? Because the word blood isn't just any word. It's one of only 1,000 core essential headwords that make up the foundation of simple English. We're not talking about a random list here. This is a hand-picked, curated set of words designed to explain pretty much anything and everything.
And this pretty much sums up the whole philosophy, the why behind all this. It's all about focusing on those essential core words, using them to make really complex stuff accessible to more people. The goal is just clear communication. It's about empowering people all over the world to understand each other. What we just did with the word blood, that's just one tiny piece of this huge, incredibly ambitious idea.
So we're going to leave it there. We've seen how even a word as common as blood has this deep, powerful, simple core. And that leaves us with one last question, and this one's for you to think about. In your life, in your work, what's a big, complex idea that is truly worth the effort of explaining this simply? Something to chew on. Thanks so much for joining us on The Explainer.